You know what I find kind of funny? It was around this time last year. I think what was it like January, February? Basically around the time Monique wanted to do that whole Netflix boycott crap. It was right before that, I believe, that Tiffany Haddish out of nowhere just blew up. Like Tiffany Haddish, her name, photo, interviews, articles. She was like Kevin Hart just popping up. You could not go to a YouTube video and an ad pop up without Tiffany Haddish going on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, seeing a promo for a new movie or whatever. And yeah, that was like, okay, this is interesting. Now, a year later, Tiffany Haddish is in the news, but for something different. Basically, the fact that she apparently bombed on stage during a New Year's Eve performance during a stand up act, and apparently she was booed. People got up and walked out. It was not pretty. So I did try to manage to get a small clip of this. Hopefully don't get copyright for it, but whatever. Let's see what exactly happened on that night. It probably isn't the entire thing, but here's just a snippet of it.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I really, like, you know what? Hey, girl, hey. Shit. Fuck you. Fuck you. This is weird for me. Then it's gonna be on TMZ or whatever. They're like, Tiffany Haddish, and your dad gets on the release. She was so. I don't give a fuck. Why don't y'all just move on, get closer? You know? This is crazy. I really want to talk about some stuff, and it's like I can't remember none of it. I just feel like whatever. She ready. We're about to ready. They're about to play some music in a minute. This is
Now, yeah, that was not pretty. I mean, I've seen a lot of stuff today on New Year's Day online about it. I think when I woke up, Tiffany Haddish was trending. A bunch of people referencing what Cat Williams was saying back, and I want to say mid-September during that interview where he went off on the radio host and pretty much talked about Tiffany Haddish and whatnot, how people who came before her and pretty much put in the work, and these are his words, kind of paraphrase, basically putting in the work and paving their way, doing stand-up after stand-up routine, barely getting cameos, then all of a sudden she does girls trip, and then she's pretty much, again, like the female Kevin Hart. And he was pretty much talking about how, like, name one Tiffany Haddish joke, like from a stand-up special and whatnot. And basically, I agree with that. I mean, I can't really quote a Tiffany Haddish joke, but let me just put it this way. I've seen a couple of good tweets on this. There's a difference between finding Tiffany Haddish unfunny versus wanting Tiffany Haddish to fail. And I think I've done maybe 3 or 4 videos on this channel. I know I did a video, I want to say probably March or April of 2018. I think the video title was literally, "Do you think Tiffany Haddish is funny?" And in that video, I talk about how I liked her in cameo appearances and whatnot, the whole loud, ghetto, ratchet black woman of a movie or TV show or whatever. In those instances, perfect. But in regards to like an entire film or whatnot, not really my cup of tea because it gets old really quick. And going back to Nobody's Fool, Tyler Perry's movie that came out, what was it, last year, early November, and that pretty much proved that, yeah, Tiffany Haddish is good, but really only in like small doses, definitely not a full film when it comes to portraying that stereotypical character. But then it's almost like, the pot calling the kettle black, because Cat Williams really made his career playing this stereotypical, well, black pimp. But at the same time, Cat Williams really blew up in regards to Friday After Next. Next thing you know, we saw him as Bobby Shaw on My Wife and Kids. And then, of course, all the specials, Pimp Chronicles, Pimpin', and the list goes on. But at the end of the day, he really made his career on the whole pimping thing. But in regards to Tiffany Haddish with the stand-up, I have seen interesting responses to this. Well, how come people are giving Tiffany Haddish, flack and whatnot? Remember that Dave Chappelle apparently got up on stage when he was high and he got booed off. And what was it? Did Kevin Hart get booed off? Or no, Cat Williams apparently had a breakdown at one time, and then he got, taken off the stage or whatever. That is very true. And let me just make it clear, like in all of my videos, like in regards to Kevin Hart or Tiffany Haddish, I applaud their work ethic. I wish them nothing but success. But personally, I don't find them as funny as I used to. Well, Kevin Hart, I don't find him as funny as I used to, but I admire his work ethic. Tiffany Haddish, I don't find her that funny per se, but I loved her in like If Loving You Is Wrong. I remember, when I went on like IMDb and Wikipedia and looked up all the different shows and movies she's been in and whatnot, I realized, oh snap, I've been seeing her for most of my, young adult life without even knowing it. And I loved her in those scenes. I even went on YouTube and just like, That's So Raven, Tiffany Haddish, and the list goes on. Funny appearances. But in terms of stand-up, I really don't think of her that much. And trust and believe, I didn't even care about the whole Monique boycott thing. But I do remember she had a couple stand-ups, like, what was it, the Queens of Comedy? I think she was on that tour, if I'm not mistaken. And she said, what was it? Something about cellmate, something about jail. That was like the theme of the comedy special. I do remember that. But at the end of the day, I do know Monique jokes. But to be honest, even she did the Parkers and whatnot. When I think Monique, I'd say about 90% of her jokes were, skinny bitches versus fat bitches jokes. So there's that. But when it comes to Tiffany Haddish, I do feel bad because I've been public speaking since I was 8 years old, basically starting in church. Then I remember doing speeches and, school and whatnot. And then I studied communications for my bachelor's degree. And then, I've done speeches here and there in between, when I was working at the call center at different churches. And coming up next month, actually, I'm going to be at a career fair talking with kids about, YouTube and whatnot. But that's a different setting where I'm going to be behind a table. They'll come up to me. So that's kind of different. But I know in regards to being on a stage in front of a lot of people, because I actually did a couple of transfer student orientation events on campus. So I've been on stage in front of a few hundred people before, but I had a good time. I was able to make it through. So can you imagine being in front of a crowd that large? And look, if there's anybody out there who's either nervous about public speaking or you've been on stage and you bombed, I think Eddie Murphy said this on like a little documentary or behind the scenes interview regarding Delirious during an anniversary DVD release. He said that there's something about being on stage and bombing. It's like the back of your neck or the back of your head gets real hot for some reason. That's what happens. It's like, oh my God. So she pretty much tried to play it off in regards to, well, hell, I don't care if y'all laughing. I mean, I thought it was funny. And then she pretty much, started drinking with the crowd, pretty much trying to divert the awkwardness. I think, some reports were saying for like a good 2 or 3 minutes, it was pretty much silence as she was trying to do her jokes from her iPad or whatever. I'm like, ooh, that's not good at all. So I do hope she is able to recover from this. But yeah, a lot of people jumped on the thing about Cat Williams saying she isn't funny or she hasn't put in the work or put in the stand-up routine, workouts, if you will. I mean, Tiffany Haddish was pretty much getting some of the flack that I think Faison Love was giving Dave Chappelle last year as well, in regards to him being like a backdoor comedian. And by that, I mean a black comedian, by him getting a white audience first and then really popping when the Dave Chappelle show came out, or the Chappelle show. That's when he really grabbed the black audience. But it really doesn't matter how you get it. It's pretty much, these other people in the same genre that want to critique how you did. It's like, oh, well, he made it to the top, but he took a different route than me and like a bunch of other comedians who aren't even at that level. So it's not fair. So I really I don't wish anything bad on Tiffany Haddish at all. I hope she does have a good year coming up. I do know, if I'm not mistaken, she has like a Netflix special coming out. I think she's even doing a voice in a Netflix animated series, and probably a few movies under her belt that we don't even know about. Well, we probably do know about. But yeah, I do feel for it. Out pretty damn awkward. I mean, people probably asking for refunds and whatnot. Not a good way to start the year, but I mean, maybe in a few weeks from now, we'll just be talking about something else. But let me know your thoughts on the Tiffany Haddish bombing in regards to New Year's Eve being more like a New Year's wreck. Have you noticed, like, almost every year there's someone who bombs at something? Like, what was it, a couple of New Years ago or a couple of years ago? Didn't Mariah Carey like bomb during one of her songs, something in regards to lip syncing or something like that, and she got flack for a little bit? And then what was it last year? You know, Kevin Hart, it was like what, October and whatnot, when the whole him cheating on his wife came out. And then during the Super Bowl, he got drunk and tried to get on stage with the winning team. But yeah, some people just have bad luck at the beginning of the year. So with that being said, Tiffany Haddish, I hope you have a wonderful 2019. And guys, you know, like I said at the beginning of the video, there's a difference between finding someone unfunny versus wishing bad luck and, you know, ill will towards them and wanting them to fail. At the end of the day, she has way more money in her bank account than I do. So it doesn't really matter what I think of her comedy. She's still making bank. But yeah, this probably isn't going to do well in terms of future ticket sales, but we'll have to wait and see. So wish you the best of luck when you put your special on Netflix. I'll definitely check it out, and heck, I'll do a review on it. Congratulations on making it to the end of this video. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that thumbs up button, as well as leaving your thoughts in the comment section below so we can keep the conversation going. On the left hand side of the screen, you should see a picture of Jeffrey Harrington. You can click on him in order to subscribe, but also hit the bell notification icon. That way you don't miss out on any new content. Also, you should see some videos appearing on the screen as well that I'm pretty sure you'll enjoy if you enjoyed the one you just saw. But also, be sure to follow me on social media such as Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Links to all my social media will be in the description below. And in order to help this channel hit 100,000 subscribers, I'm going to need your help. So make sure to share this video as well as the channel around with all of your friends on your own social media. But once again, thanks so much for tuning in, and I'll catch you all in the next video.